Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Mind Muscle Connection podcast. Today is a solo episode, and I want to dive into an interesting topic. And so this is going to come out on December 20th, so right around the time of Christmas or just around the holidays, winter time, whatever it may be. And so I think this episode will be somewhat timely, right? And so I've made a post on this on social media, and I've never gone over it on here, and so I wanted to dive into it. And so the initial reason I made this post that I'm going to go over is because I was asked, hey, I'm doing 25,000 K steps plus per day, and I want to do less, but I'm scared to see my weight go up. And so this made me realize like the number of things people will do to not see their scale weight go up at all. And 25, that's a bit extreme. But again, there's people who they move a ton, maybe they're eating pretty low calorie just to maintain a low weight, and they just can't see that scale weight go up at all. And so I see this happen in the short term where it's like they're scared to see even a little bit of weight come up, and then obviously long term. But I think the big where it can really be an issue is if you're scared to see it come up even just one day. That's where things can really be challenging. Again, the amount of things people do to not see their scale weight go up at all is just crazy, right? And at the end of the day, not letting your body weight come up at all may be hurting your look and health long term. And there's going to be some few exceptions to this, which I'm going to go over. But the post I made was letting your body weight come up 5 to 10 pounds while lifting, right? If your weight comes up 5 to 10 pounds and you're lifting in that process, there's a good chance that most, if not all, or at least some of it is going to be muscle, right? So for lifting in that process, that's something that we need to think about here in this, right? Because a lot of times people see scale weight come up a little bit and they automatically think it's fat gain, but that's not necessarily the case, right? We need to look at the body comp side of things. Two, if your body weight comes up a few pounds and you're staying active, again, that's going to be different than somebody who just sees their scale weight come up and they're not doing anything, right? Because obviously for doing that, one, it's going to increase your energy expenditure, but it's also by moving and lifting, you're giving your body a place. It's more likely that food is going to go towards your muscle versus if you're not moving, you're sedentary, you're not lifting, there's a higher risk that it's going to go towards fat storage there with that. Three, you're getting good sleep in this process as well too, right? So if you're gaining a few pounds and you're doing the first two things, you're also getting good sleep. Again, there's a good chance that a lot of that weight is going to go towards lean body mass. Next is you're eating enough protein in that process, right? So obviously we could lift weights, we could stay active, but if we're gaining a little bit of weight, even just a little bit over an extended period of time, we're also eating enough protein. Again, that's even like a higher likelihood that we are going to build muscle in that process. You can't just protein your way to more muscle, but you can, if you lift and then you also eat enough protein, that's that kind of magic combo there. And then lastly, if you're also having a good nutrition base, maybe you have some tasty food in there, but if you also add in a little bit of, if you have a good nutrition base, you're getting enough protein, you're getting some fruit and veggie in, you're getting some healthy fats in, you're getting some whole grains in with fiber, and then you add in some tasty food at your parties, whatever it may be, and your weight comes up a few pounds and you're doing all these other things, this is probably going to do more for your look and health long term than trying to stay at your lowest scale weight 24/7 ever will. So again, the main takeaway from this first part is that people do a lot of things to not see their scale weight go up because they think it's automatically going to lead to fat gain. But again, for certain people, letting it come up a few pounds while doing all these things is probably going to be better for your look and health long-term anyways. I just made a post the other day, which I'll probably make into a podcast here at some point, and it was around this observation after working with hundreds of clients. Most people don't realize how high their true maintenance calories can be for two reasons. One, you panic over minor scale weight fluctuations and you're scared to see your scale weight come up slightly. So you end up kind of being in this like lower calorie amount to maintain that low weight because you don't want to see it come up at all. You see it come up one day and you're like, oh crap, I have to decrease my calories. And because of that, you never actually get to really see where your maintenance calories are. The other kind of big mistake I see here is you're inconsistent with your nutrition outside of fat loss dieting. So you have these on-off cycles, right? So it's like during fat loss, you're 100% on, then you come off of fat loss and now you're winging it a bit more. And next thing your weight comes up. Now you're like, oh, I got to go back to fat loss to drop some weight. And then again, you never really get to see where your maintenance calories are. So then people think, oh, if I eat over 1900 calories, I gain weight. No, that's not the issue. It's you never give your body the chance to settle into true maintenance and you miss out on how much food you could actually be eating because you're panicking over scale weight fluctuations and you're being inconsistent when you're not dieting there. So a side tangent, but again, so there's that. And so people don't eat enough. But again, I bring this up because a lot of people are worried about seeing their scale weight come up, whether that be after a fat loss phase or whatever it may be, but they don't realize like what you do in that process is just super important on there. And again, as I make the point here in this post, for some people, this is going to be better for your long-term look and health by actually increasing your calories and letting your weight come up a little bit here. I do want to go over a couple additional thoughts on this. So my first additional thought is if you're overweight or your weight has been trending up for months on end, then this doesn't really apply to you. Okay. In this situation, to improve your look slash health, you probably need to either just maintain your weight or do drop a little bit of body fat. Because again, I could see this, and this is your personal choice. If again, I don't think so long as you're not really overweight and if you just have moderate amounts of body fat and your weight comes up 5 to 10 pounds and you're doing these things, again, it's not going to necessarily be the worst thing in the world. You still probably would be better off maintaining or losing weight, but again, it still wouldn't be the worst. But really what I'm trying to get at is here, people that have been like slowly gaining weight over the last few months, and or you are when that's like on the high end of the overweight category or like the low end of the obese category or higher. For you, gaining that 5 to 10 pounds probably isn't like, it's ultimately up to you in terms of your risk, the risk that you want to take and what you want to do. But in most situations, like that wouldn't be something I would recommend. So that kind of knocks you out of this thought, unfortunately, right? So again, we're looking at specific type of people here with this. And second, you may not be, so my second thought on this is you may not be at your goal weight yet, but you have lost a significant amount of weight, right? So maybe you've lost 10% or more of your body weight. Maybe you've lost some weight. You haven't gotten to where you want to go yet, but you're still like at the point where, you're having a really hard time. Like you feel like you're eating low calorie just to maintain your weight and you're scared to see it come up at all because you're afraid to go backwards. For you, taking some time to stop trying to lose more weight and letting your scale weight come up slightly might be exactly what your body needs to push through that next stage of weight loss. Okay. Just because again, it's your body's probably fighting you a little bit here. It's gotten to the point where, hey, you've lost a good amount of weight. Your body's adapting to that a little bit. It wants to start to be like, what's going on here? Why are we losing all this extra energy that we have? It's going to start to slow some things down, and mentally just continuing to diet weighs on you mentally. It's hard to do that for you. If you lost 10% or more of your body weight, putting on, let's say anywhere from 2 to 10 pounds, because it is all relative to the person, like just putting on a few pounds is probably not going to be the worst thing. Or it's for you, it could be that exactly what your body needs to push through that next stage of weight loss, right? And this like diet breaks, maintenance phases, whatever you want to call it. But again, I think the big mistake people make here is they lose this weight and then they don't want to see it come up ever again. So then they end up being in this like kind of low end of maintenance, high, like low, very small deficit, and they never really get out of it. And they end up shrinking how many calories they could potentially be eating. And you just mentally that can weigh on you. And then that leads to a higher risk of like weight regain later on because of the mental side of things. So again, for you, just letting that your scale weight come up slightly, especially during a period of time like this, so long as we're doing those things that I talked about, you're going to be fine. And again, you probably don't want to necessarily maybe put on 10 pounds overnight, but again, if it slowly just comes up there, again, that for you, that might not be the worst thing in the world. And again, this just coincides with this time of year here. So again, I just want to go over a few ways, and this more so is for the person who is like scared of increasing their calories or scared of seeing their scale weight come up at all. Because again, if we do increase our calories a bit, you're going to see your scale weight come up slightly. But like I said, if we're doing the things that I mentioned here initially, you're going to be fine. But taking time away from fat loss dieting can, one, improve your long-term look because we're actually going to give our body enough fuel to build some lean body mass, which is going to improve your look. Two, it can make future fat loss phases more effective / efficient. If you can take some time to increase your calories, take a break from always trying to weight loss diet, this is going to make your future fat loss phases more effective, right? Because you're going to build muscle. Mentally, you're going to be able to reset a bit. So it's just going to make things more efficient in the future. Three, it's going to reduce burnout and restriction around nutrition. Again, like I said, mentally, it's just a lot to continue to like always maintain this low weight, continue to drop scale weight and everything like that. And obviously that's going to come with less flexibility around your nutrition. And four, improved overall health markers. So again, from a hormonal standpoint for guys, if you're in this like low energy state for too long, again, that can impact your testosterone potentially. It can impact thyroid. Women, if we're in this kind of low calorie state for a while, it can mess with your hormones. Those can get out of whack, out of balance there. Obviously hunger is going to be higher. Cravings are going to be higher. And so again, our body's just not going to be as optimal as it could be if we're always trying to just maintain our lowest like weight, or we're scared of seeing that scale weight come up at all there. And so I did want to go over, I got a message from a client who is in the process of, she wanted to lose weight. We did that. We got her down about 30 pounds and she is finally, we got to the point where, hey, she got as lean as she wanted to get for now. And it's, hey, now we need to increase calories. So for her, she said, I was going to mention in my check-in, but it's unbelievable to me that I'm eating 2,200 calories on a normal day and I look and feel great. She goes, I would have not thought I'd ever be here if you had asked me a year ago. So like for her, we're up to 2,200. She's feeling good. She feels like she's looking really good. And her weight still is actually trending down a bit. We've had to increase her calories. We're probably going to have to increase her calories at least one more time. Although we've had to increase them a couple times because we slowly increased it up to 2,200. And then we would see scale weight start to trend down. And that's one thing that can happen, right? If you actually get to your true maintenance and allow yourself to see your scale weight come up slightly, you'll actually end up, once things stabilize, because that initial increase in scale weight is typically just going to be glycogen, just more food in your system overall. And if you can get over that and you can stick with it and continue to maintain that caloric amount, you'll find that your numbers, like, you'll get to a point to where then your scale weight starts to decrease again and you can actually make a bump. And really, to me, the best way I can describe this is your body just gets to the point to where it's okay, we can relax, right? We just drop a ton of stress by getting to around your maintenance calories, and your body feels like it can relax. And so it just is less stress. And so you see a lot of water weight come off. But then on top of it, because we're now giving our body enough energy regularly, right? And we're also doing the things that we talked about initially. A lot of people see an increase in NEAT. So they actually increase their energy expenditure subconsciously. Whereas when we get stuck in this like kind of vicious cycle of like just maintaining our lowest weight, not letting scale weight come up at all, again, our body's going to start to be a little bit more thrifty with the energy it expends. And one of those ways is through NEAT, which is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So like your subconscious movement, right? You maybe fidget a little bit less, maybe you blink a little bit slower, things like that. You just move less, subconsciously, you just move less overall. You don't have as much kind of spontaneous movement there. And again, that's another benefit that we see here when we can get out of this mindset. And so again, I think this can help a lot of people just in general, but also around this time of year. This is a tough time of year. You're probably going to see you're probably going to consume a little bit more. But if we do these things that I talked about initially, again, we lift weights, we stay active, we get good sleep, we eat enough protein, and we maintain a good nutrition base, and your scale weight comes up a bit. Again, it's probably going to do more for your look. It's going to be a lot better for your look long term than you think if you manage these things right. Now, if you just don't do any of these things and you gain 5 to 10 pounds, well, that's probably not the greatest. So I hope this helps somebody also like still stay on track with things like training and stuff during this time, because it can go a long way there if you can maintain that. But again, what happens is a lot of people, they maybe see their scale weight come up, they get demotivated. Now they're not doing anything because of that. And then January comes around, so now I got to drop that weight again there. Or maybe you don't. And then every year you kind of see this pop up. Hopefully this is helpful for somebody. Hopefully this helps you kind of get through this time of year there. If you found this podcast to be helpful in any way, if you could leave a rating and review, that will help more people find this podcast. If you haven't yet, give me a follow on Instagram, Jeff, HOEHN_. That's where I'm most active on social media. And then lastly, if you need help during this period of time, or maybe you need help with this mindset around the scale and not letting it come up at all, and that's causing some issues in terms of hunger, maybe blood work, whatever it may be, then my free 30-minute strategy calls for you, and we can dive into what's going on there, how we can fix it, and then we'll come up with a game plan for that. That's it for this episode. Hope you guys have a great day whenever you listen to this. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you have a great holiday season. And again, if you have any questions, just reach out to me on Instagram, and I will chat with you soon.